Yeah,
Yes.
this is a celebration one. 20th video
Video.
is there.
Yeah.
20th video.
So what does it mean?
One more video, which means we reached the 21 milestone, which means we're top 1%.
Of the entire podcast in the world.
Mm-hmm. We're up there. With
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. We're sitting there with Shane Gillis right now.
Yeah.
We're just chilling. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing. Yeah. So that's why it's a celebration of sorts. So it's one more, and then we reach 21, and then top 1%, and then the next milestone would be 100, right? Because then it's like
Sure.
0.01 or something.
Yeah.
You mentioned when you mentioned the statistics. I don't
Could
remember
be.
them.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this topic is like a serious one. So we have decided to talk about why the education system or the system that we have put education in sucks.
So oh, what an original topic. Students
Yeah.
complaining about
Yeah.
studying again. No, it's mostly because it kind of talks about our different, like our previous topic somewhat, and the fact that you go to school, but you also should learn more stuff.
Beyond school.
Yeah, beyond school.
Because education is something is a lifelong thing, you know. It cannot be just what to say, like put just into the system of school, university, college, only that 4 years you will learn something and then nothing else.
Never learn
No,
again.
we are always learning something, formally, informally, how our life teaches us every day, right? Like
Yeah, and it's a good thing to just learn how to learn on your own, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally is not what happening in a system like a university, college, generally speaking, overall, irrespective of engineering, medicine, schooling, anything. It's all at this point are all bottom up, you know. Basically, they teach you the fundamentals. You don't even know why you are studying. You lose your motivation. And
Yeah.
also, one biggest flaw that I currently see in the education system is almost all of us are taught by the same person in one way only. All 40 members, let's say, are completely different, unique individuals who learn stuff completely differently, you know.
Yeah.
Not two people are the same, including we both are completely different in the way we learn.
Yeah.
It takes more time, he solidifies knowledge. I do it fastly and I do it multiple times so that then I solidify it, I layer it. He does it one thing at a time properly. So it's like completely different, you know. But we are all taught the same way, we are all graded the same way, and also we are all stuck to the system so hard. Fear of failing, fear of grades.
Yeah,
fear
this is
of,
the only way you can actually achieve anything is through the
Yeah.
education system, which is
and we don't do anything else
Yeah.
beyond that. That's when you realize life is more than just that. You study to be a veterinarian, you don't know anything about tax, how to run a business, you will fail.
Yeah.
If you are an engineer, you don't know how to fucking do marketing or sell yourself for a job interview, or you don't know how to have a soft skills, communicate with your team or so on and so forth. Like you will still be a poor engineer, nobody can work with you. So it's like, it's not just what the schools teach you, it's not just only technical knowledge.
Yeah, and it's easy to get lost in that kind of rat race of getting the
Yeah.
top grades, and
We both have
yeah, we both
the
have gotten
experience.
lost at some point in
But
that
at
race.
least you recovered so quick. I think, I kind of also recovered at the same time of your age, 22
Yeah,
years.
it's kind of once you reach it, and then you realize it's not the thing for you,
Yeah.
and then you move on.
That's
kinda.
the level, and the sooner you reach, at least soon you know.
Yeah. So I can't really say that you shouldn't study hard and kind of get lost in that race initially, because it gives you some perspective somewhat.
Yeah.
Once you've reached I guess your top, whatever your ultimate goal, at least in the education system was, reaching it helps you kind of see that no, it's
Yeah.
not useful.
It's not giving you happiness,
Yeah.
meaning, purpose, or just like joy that you thought you will get. You
Mm.
just like, okay, next, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the same thing you did. You're like in India, right?
Yeah, in my case, I was studying so hard, exactly around your age, like 18 to 22. Or even before that, the high schooling, killing myself, basically waking up at 4 a.m., sleeping at 12. Doing that, I developed sinusitis, spitting and spewing blood all the time.
Yeah, and you're still kind of having problems with it, right? You still cough up
Yeah, I was just
regularly.
spitting blood, like I'm
Yeah,
speaking cancer.
which sounds insane.
Yeah.
It's like
And I
that.
did not go to the doctor also because I have to take holiday. I have to lose
Yeah, yeah.
couple
You have
of
to
days.
study. You're losing days to study, so you
Yeah.
can't do that.
It was the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. I ended up getting 95%, which was not good enough for India because it's very competitive. I could not become a veterinarian that I wanted to become. And then I ended up choosing engineering. Then what did I do? I did the same thing. I chose one of the hardest courses because I just want to punish myself.
Yeah, and you also did like extremely difficult and too many, right?
Yeah, and a lot of courses. I did so many courses at the same time. And then I also got like the top 3 also in that time also. Then I just realized, actually my grandparents, one day I was speaking with them, they just told me, I'm an electrical engineer, okay? So they said, you are an electrical engineer. At that time I was the top 3 in the entire department, okay? You cannot even change a tube light at home. You cannot even do the wiring.
Oh,
for
they
home.
humbled you?
Yeah, like, I was like, what the fuck? And then I also listened to some more interviews where so many electrical engineers at that point in India, they're all passing their exam, they're all studying, all book knowledge, they don't even know how to light up a LED. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, then you realize, like, it's not just grades anymore. You need to develop practical skills and you need a portfolio. Nobody is gonna ever see your transcript. Trust me. And trust him. He knows it more than I'm 30 years old, okay? Nobody has ever asked for my transcript. It's all about 80, 90. Fucking nobody cares.
Yeah. No one gives a shit about your grades.
I could have got 41, I could have still be worried.
You could have barely passed and it would have been the same.
But the thing is, and also we are not saying that you need to get 40, you don't need to get 80. You can become knowledgeable in stuff that interests you, of course. If you like this subject or this topic more, focus more, get good marks. Yeah, good marks is fine, but that's not the end goal.
Yeah, and then for certain stuff, it is really important. Like for high school, you should aim for really high grades because it's based on grades to get into university.
Exactly. That system is designed in that way. I thought I am so dumb, but after you said, now I realize in India is purely competition based on marks. The only way I get into a decent university is through grades. So I focus on getting grades than being passionate about biology, physics or chemistry. I want to fucking just destroy all the subjects, get the maximum I can to go into that school. I have no passion. It kills the interest for the subject. I used to love biology. My grandparents used to tell me, oh, we are in India, still the caste system exists, right? So we are of this caste, you won't get seat, you won't get admitted unless you get that 99%.
Yeah.
So they keep telling me that all the time. I hate biology, hated the stuff that I loved, and I studied only for grades. I ended up losing it. I got only 95. Only 95.
Yeah, which is not good enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
It's just the society, family, they all care about you. It's all fine, but just is it the right thing?
Yeah, like, but it's good that they caught you though, kind of, in a way, because you might have just continued down that way.
I mean, I was also realizing, but just that kind of sealed the deal. It's like
the
final nail in the coffin, like, fuck this. And then also I still wanted to leave India. I thought like maybe the rest of the world is better. I thought. And then I came here. But I mean, engineering was somewhat okay. Masters in Germany and Sweden. It was somewhat practical. But the problem was every subject was a portfolio subject. We were doing business. We are doing robotics, we are doing AI, and we are doing control systems. All 4 heavy duty subjects in one course. Taught about all these massive topics, how to run your startup, go and do cold call, go and do assignments, go and talk to companies, get your feedbacks, do pricing studies, do all these things they will say. At the same time, I have to learn control system, robotics, AI from scratch, hardest thing ever.
yeah, you learn how to program these things from the get-go.
It was too overwhelming, but still we survived. I mean, everything went well. As an Indian, I fucking passed everything, cleared it.
Yeah.
But it was still, I wish it was, there was still that fear of failing, Still that stupid exams, those things were constantly bugging me, at least for me personally.
In what way?
Because I had to pass, because only then I'll get my scholarship. Then I started becoming a slave. I studied my master's through full scholarship, okay? So in my undergraduation, I stopped studying really well from 95% to 80%, okay? I just stopped studying and started focusing on research work in laboratories and stuff. So I gained a lot of experience in India because of all this research experience that I had, along with a decent grade of 80%. I got my masters for free. But when I moved to my masters, the checkmate was I was given full scholarship. Everything is good, but I have to pass every subject, so all the subjects that I take. Right, so again I have to be stuck in the rat race of passing. If I fail, there's no money to fund myself to study and live and everything. Right?
Yeah. And no one's gonna be able to pay for that all of a sudden, right?
Because I did not take educational loan or something. You see, because I had the scholarship.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you can take an educational loan instantly, right?
Yeah.
So that might have been worse off.
Yeah, and then now med school is a similar thing. Everybody is terrified about the subject. Like, oh, this subject is so hard. Oh my god, I have to pass it. If not, I have to repeat the entire year. People are terrified of. Like, these are subjects I have to fall in love with. I have to understand the meaning of it. Just enjoy it and take it in. No. We are all going for grades or just a fear of failing. Not many people in med school are going for grades. 99% of people just want to pass because it's already too hard.
Yeah, and then they don't even go for the, like, even above 50. Yeah, they just want to pass, like you say.
Yeah, but I do not know whether this is right though. That's what the concern is, right? Like, are these systems setting up a good precedence? Like, I'm just losing my motive here, right? Instead of learning and understanding something, I'm just thinking of just passing it, clearing it. Some of the hard subjects we took, how many people have go back and study that? I don't think anybody did. Any of us touch it?
Yeah, that's also a good point. Like, I'm never touching it afterwards.
You just hate it after that day. Yeah. After I mean, like, fuck this subject. I never want to see this again.
Yeah, and it's not just us. I talked to like some of the vets that I worked for, and it was just like, once I was done with vet school, I just had to take a year off. I didn't do anything with anything medicine related.
Yeah, you see, you are trained to be a doctor. How much the system has made you develop hatred towards what you love, right?
Yeah.
You are supposed to do for the rest of your life. You're just fucking tired of studying.
It's insane in that way, and it's been that way for a long time. Like, he was an old guy as well, so it's been like that for a long time, probably forever.
That's the biggest curse of education system, right? 150 years back, how they are teaching till now, this is almost the same thing. Now maybe there are projectors, more slides, PowerPoint. Other than that, it's the same thing.
You have some electric whiteboard that the teacher doesn't know how to use. That's about it. That's all that changed. That's the only thing. So I definitely agree with that though. But that's the general education system though, right? Where you're just gunning for grades all the time. And a lot of the time it doesn't matter, especially once you've reached university, right? Grades don't matter as much anymore, so then you can focus on other stuff, right? Afterwards, like more skills. But also the thing that we did, right, where, how do I put this? It's like my trail of thought is failing.
What are you going for?
Okay, so once you've reached the university, going for grades is not rewarded anymore. Like you said, you don't even get talked. Like, they've never checked it. They've never looked for it.
Never even bring it up. Your employer never cares.
Yeah, so just getting into that kind of mentality of not necessarily like slacking off. That's not what we're saying.
What we are saying here, stressing here, is diversify your portfolio. Think of it as a portfolio rather than just a transcript. Just don't show a fucking grade slip that it's all yes. Fucking nobody cares. Rather you say, I worked in a farm, I did research there, I worked on this equine clinic, I went and programmed AI, I learned 3D modeling, I learned a musical instrument, I started a YouTube channel, I became a chef, I got certified as a chef, Italian chef or something. So it's so cool, right?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
And also you that will help you de-stress myself. For example, I started doing martial arts. Then in martial arts, I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muaythai from Thailand, and then kickboxing and mix of everything, MMA, mixed
Mm.
martial arts. So it gave me so many avenues to diversify. Then I'm doing 3D modeling. Then I'm doing memory training. Then I'm doing playing games in the simulator. I do truck simulator. I play with the
Yeah.
aviation simulator. It's all very interesting for me. On top of that, I also work parallelly. On
Mm.
top of it, I'm studying full-time medicine, right? Like I have to balance all these things. So and previously I also have startups as well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just
And work,
mm,
right?
so you just have to like, and I come home every time I cooked my food. I never bought. I mean I buy, but not often I buy outside. Shitty
Yeah,
food.
that's that's mostly like sandwiches when you're walking home,
Mm.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
sandwiches. But in Indian way of a thing, like we cook mostly from scratch, and I cook for 2 hours with patience. Like chill and just cook.
Yeah.
I love to cook. So yeah.
So yeah, just seeing that when you've gotten to a university, the grades don't matter as much, and then also because they don't matter as much, you should focus more on other stuff. And just getting into those skills can be very difficult because, like we said, getting lost in that rat race is really difficult, especially when you're aiming for the highest things and you're used to aiming for the highest things. Trying to break away from that in a way is very difficult initially. And then eventually you get a skill which you get rewarded for, maybe, and then you can continue with that skill with confidence. Like for you, 3D modeling, like it would be easier once you've started winning. You can see that, oh, I can just keep doing
Yeah,
this.
just the confidence. Recently I participated in a contest. I learned 3D modeling. I don't even know. I just learned by doing something, and I published that. Came up with some idea.
Like you
fusion
modified
idea.
somebody
Yeah,
else's
yeah.
main concept.
No, I just took some multiple different online stuff models that I saw and fused all of it and came up with something like more.
And then
like
you added some parts
yeah,
of it yourself
yeah.
as well.
And then I designed everything from scratch. So that's what I was more proud of actually, more than anything else, because these things were so hard. I'm an electrical engineer and mostly now studying veterinary medicine. I have to learn about gears, how gears work.
Yeah.
How to make them, and then how to edit them, how to move them, place them. And then now finally I won 6th place out of 1,000 entries. I feel like he blows my mind away. He gave me new purpose, kind of, new motivation. It just gives me more lively, the competitive mindset. What are you competing, right? It's just nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
put ourselves in the competitive mindset. Let's say next year you are preparing for a marathon. So that's like a thing. Your goal is to maybe run under an hour or something. Let's say hour long the marathon is. So you have the purpose, right? Like to
Yeah.
it just keeps you the rush of adrenaline and stuff. But you just keep studying for grades, and then once you go real to the outside world, which nobody cares about your what you did in your school. They just care about, can you solve my problem. Most veterinary clinics, for example, since you are doing veterinary medicine, you have to ask the employer what are they looking for, why are they even hiring for this place. That is the exact. Let's say they say that we don't have a person to do the radiology stuff and also take care of some of the small animal patients or something. So that's what you will be doing. You just need to know those things. Nobody cares about your entire awards and stuff for getting A's in school, right? You don't need that. You just need to fill your employer's requirement. In software engineering, I could be a great AI engineer, but they wanted to do only the database management or something. So I might not get hired if I don't know that. I just need to know enough of database management that I somehow survive and get into the job and go ahead.
Yeah, maybe you've done some basic work with it before.
If I just say I got A in my database management course, what the fuck it will do if I don't know how to do it practically?
Yeah.
The reason why we are saying this is, what you study is completely or totally or mostly different from what they do in real life. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah, especially when it comes to stuff like medicine. You don't get to practice a lot because in order to practice, something needs to have gone wrong with something that's alive. So in engineering, you just make a thing, a prototype. Like that's your...
And also in engineering school, the stuff you study is all fundamentals. Who invented neural networks? How is a single neuron? How do you chain your... But it's very fundamental stuff,
Yeah.
But in my work, they want can you work with Amazon's AWS and then move everything from Microsoft Azure to AWS and create that AI model that's already there, written in by a different person there, and rewrite and make everything work in AWS. nobody teaches that. You see, it's so different. World
Yeah.
is real world is very different.
How do you overcome that though? You just watch videos?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest curse of software engineering is unlearning and relearning, okay? Every 3 months, 2 months, whatever you know, you have to forget basically because it has become obsolete and you have to relearn something new. So, whenever the requirement comes, you learn along the way. Learn in the job, basically.
Okay, yeah.
That's all. It's the same way. The Halloween contest that I participated, I learned in the job. I have 10 days to meet the deadline. I sat 1 week and fully designed it and fucking printed it and failed 100 times and then finally fucking everything made everything
And had to
work.
glue some stuff on just to get it to work, but still you
Yeah.
made it though. You made it. in
Yeah,
the
I
end.
mean, yeah, so everything is a struggle, right? So even for me, my job that I do as a AI engineer, it's so hard. Now my new requirement, right, like for this week, so far I made AI models, right? Now my new requirement is how to deploy AI model, which is not I do. I create solutions like voice to text, text to voice, make AI chatbot or something I can make. But how to make it as an app, I don't know. Like now that is my requirement. So I cannot say no. You better start learning, motherfucker. So,
Just to keep your job, yeah.
yeah.
Dang.
That's literally my next week's work. This weekend, I have to start reading how should I create.
How to launch this application.
Yeah,
But
deployable.
what, how do you, yeah.
It's basically some kind of a cloud platform which is not AWS, Azure or Google Firebase or something. It's completely different. So I have to learn their documentation and then figure out how to make everything work.
Yeah, but is deploying like launching it so somebody else can use it? Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
basically, yeah.
Okay,
Which,
okay.
which I think is a useful skill. But that's why you slowly end up becoming everything, You have to know more than what you are taught. So do not just slave away with studying and getting marks.
Yeah. So that's one reason to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then we also have like, what was some of the problems you met in India, like Indian schools? What's the main issue there? Is
I
it
mean, just memorization and vomiting.
just vomiting and memorization?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for the Norwegian schools, for me, it's mostly like lack of resources, right? There's not, like, you want to do engineering, okay, well, who's gonna give you the stuff to do it? Like, we have 3 circuit boards. It's
Okay.
not-
But
there's-
it's so shocking though.
Yeah,
Being
it's
a
like-
first world country.
Yeah, there's
I
like
would
250 people though, and 10 people choose the subject. Like, who's gonna fund that? There's
Yeah.
very little. Yeah, so you mostly work with like wood. I remember we made windmills because I chose that subject, and it was just we made windmills out of wood and reused engines that they've been using forever.
Oh, okay.
You had to take them out at the
Yeah,
end
for
of the
me
year.
it sucks. The moment I see those is
Yeah.
so even in the university where I was working as assistant lecturer, we bought everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I was the one who placed order for everything. All the sensors came, boards came, but the number of students were 3, just like you said.
Yeah.
For 3 people, that was a lot. They
Yeah,
had,
you
so
managed
they
to
had a
order
time of
all
their
that.
life.
Yeah. We got nothing. I mean, now they rectified. They got like, now they actually bought like a huge, they invested into a pavilion with 3D printers and everything.
Oh,
But that's of
really?
course when I
Yeah,
graduate, when I leave.
The same thing in TU Berlin. There used to be 3D printing farm, it seems. For free, you could
Yeah.
do it. I never knew it when I moved to Sweden. Motherfucker.
That's what happened
I
to
spent
me.
like fucking $1,000 on this shit.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not only you. So I would say, yeah, the main issue would be, I guess, lack of resources and also somewhat kind of,
Lack
walking.
of awareness.
Lack
Or
of-
interest.
Yeah, but also walking on eggshells all the time. You don't want to offend people or your teachers. Cause then
Yeah,
you're-
and you are not powerful as a student. You are
Yeah.
the least powerful chess piece there. So you
You're
better
not even
shut
a-
the fuck
yeah.
up.
You're not even a
Nobody
pawn.
cares.
But I do like the fact that it's not just regurgitation, it's also somewhat logic based. So you remember it for a long time, which is better.
Yeah.
It's better. But again, there's not that, like, for example, in like universities in the US, you have like people running banks, like university banks, and like it's a whole society inside the
Yeah.
university. Norway, it's like a tiny little building.
Yeah.
You got like, I mean, not a tiny building, but you got a huge campus, I guess, kind
I
of.
mean, India it has its own problems, right? Like
Yeah.
you cannot even imagine those things, like to have afford these things. I was lucky enough to afford the electronic boards, but how many parents and kids?
Yeah, I couldn't, right?
Yeah, like that's the most of it, right? I luckily because this was somewhat relatively cheaper. You see what I mean? And even for the Arduino board, I have to buy the cheap Chinese one, the clone of it, so that is 10 times cheaper than the original one.
Yeah.
And it's in stock and still works.
Yeah. You had to do a lot of research though, just to make it work, right?
Yeah. That's the fun for me, at least at the time. I was soldering, I was just inhaling all the smoke. I used to burn myself everywhere. When I was soldering.
But
hold the tip all the time.
That's a part of the experience. He told me. At least my big brother solders a lot, right? So that's a part of it. But you do like the smell of leaded tin after a while.
Flux and stuff. Flux will melt. It'll be like so cool though.
Yeah, and it smells kind of like a sweet thing. I guess it smells decent. It's not the worst.
I mean, it smells industrial grease.
Yeah. Depends on what. Yeah, if you like the industrial smell and you feel like I don't know, getting lightheaded is a fun pastime, then you can definitely.
Oh my god! I used to connect transformers to the power supply, man. Like
the what?
Like the naked transformers that step up and step down the voltage. Like
outside. Kind of transformer, like
but there are smaller versions of the transformers, which is still equally dangerous. But
that's also another thing. The amount of regulations keeping you from doing stuff in Norway is huge, right?
Okay, in India, nobody uses a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. If there's some kid climbing the electric pole to plug in another supply line.
Yeah, that we will not do. But I will say at home, the small embedded system transformers, the smaller wattage ones. The steps down very small AC voltage to a very smaller AC voltage.
It's still enough to fry a little Indian boy, but
no,
still.
It'll fry the entire my home power supply.
Okay.
My entire home is shot, right? I did that also a couple of times.
Okay.
Oh god, thank god it was a breaker so which we could turn on. Sometimes the fuse went, then we have to call an electrician to put a fuse on the shit.
Oh, okay. But it's never you actually putting yourself in danger.
Yeah, I mean, danger means like just burning myself and shit.
Okay. What about Germany though? And Sweden, what?
I mean, Germany, Sweden, more like it was overwhelming. Because of the scholarship thing, I'm stuck also. I couldn't explore, be free a bit more, which I thought I will be compared to India. Coming to med school, I thought I'll be even more freer, which is not the case. I have to still study a lot of unwanted subjects that I don't like, but I still have to do it anyways. But this is how the overall, I wouldn't pinpoint one university or one college. Overall, from high school to every university is somewhat not the greatest, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say, just maybe not shitting on them completely. I would say the greatest teacher for me, who in this entire journey?
Who?
YouTube.
That makes sense though.
So many people have told that YouTube has taught them so much more than most universities or schools and colleges.
Yeah, like Khan Academy, right?
I'm designing shit because of YouTube.
Yeah. There's so much content on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get even more, so that's definitely something you can use too.
And literally now we are doing our own content as well. It's just getting
even more.
Getting to us as well.
Yeah, because it's so easy to just start, I guess. Start with something.
I mean, not easy.
It
takes a lot of effort, but yeah.
I mean, relatively, if you wanted to get into like radio, you had to put in a lot of initial effort. Like if you just wanted to do
similarly I understand watch mechanics is harder, even though it's a simple watch you buy for cheap. Same thing for radio and stuff. Some of this simpler electronic devices circuits will be so hard.
No, I mean like as posting things publicly to a platform, like now it's easier than ever, right?
Okay.
Like you're doing all this, but this is unnecessary to start posting. You could just download, what's it called, the Powtoon and Animate, or the CapCut.
Strike.
What is it called? The CapCut. The animation software, and then you just record yourself doing something.
Editing
and then post it. You're going the extra mile, and with this.
Yeah, things have become easier, but still, mind is always getting distracted more and more.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I would say getting to do one thing is harder.
Yeah, because there's so much coming up, right? You just want to search a video on YouTube, and all of a sudden you're watching top 10 UFC moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like, oh God, not here again.
So you have to dodge a lot of bullets though.
Yeah, so that's definitely something you struggle with when you're learning new skills, right?
Yeah.
Outside of school, you're like procrastinating so much even though you want to learn something, right?
So it's not like you chose to learn something new and then it's gonna be easy again.
Yeah, it's gonna be your next passion.
Yeah, it's gonna suck so hard though. Everything that I have done, martial arts, 3D printing, freaking memory training, everything was harder and will be hard. Whatever you are gonna try. Same way for him trying the musical instruments and stuff, calisthenics, everything is hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Initially, yeah, it's very hard, and especially, I mean, I chose probably the worst thing to start with calisthenics,
That's
right?
what we do, right?
Yeah, because I'm a lanky boy, right?
Yeah.
Which means, I mean, the joints will probably be worn out at some point,
Yeah.
and then also your shoulder gets thrown out, just basically warming up almost,
Yeah.
because you have to travel so much further, and you weigh a lot, right? I mean, I weigh 71, 72, and I'm nothing, right? I've got no muscle in my arms, and I weigh a lot, like 20 kilograms, not
Yeah.
quite 20, 10 kilograms more than the average person, and I'm underweight, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah.
And that's what.
And
you
then
want
also,
to do.
I also threw up my shoulder, right, when I was fucking 1 year old, because my mother yanked it out of
Really?
its socket, and
Just
it's
came
still
out?
never good.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh god. You know what happened for me? I thought I'm good in yoga. I do yoga and coming from India, right? One guy was doing kimura. Basically, it's a jiu-jitsu move to lock your hand, you tap.
Yeah.
I said, it's not hurting. Go for it. Go for it. He's just fucking yanking my hand. Nothing happened. The entire thing went over. The class got finished. I went home. From that day, next 5 years, I still is there. That's the wrap for that kimura. Still hurts. I fucked my shoulder up so bad.
Yeah, the shoulder is a weak structure in my opinion.
For me, my knees,
Yeah.
both my knees are shot. My meniscus is torn, ACL is completely torn, one is reconstructed.
You've just shredded yourself, half cyborg as well.
Yeah, so that's what we are trying to say is, it is harder when you try to follow your passion and still maintain deal with bureaucracies, but you still have to deal with the bureaucracy like we are trying to pass the school anyways and still trying to pursue other things so that one day so that you find meaning and purpose in what you do and also not get lost into the system's rat race, and also in future all these things might come together and maybe becomes your new job or something, so that you never have to work a single day in your life. Your passion and hobby becomes your main job. That's the coolest thing.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing. And you never
That's where we are going for, honestly speaking. We are trying to make whatever our passionate things are somehow monetizable. So that
so we don't have to work in a clinic because we have to work and make money. Right?
Yeah, it should be like, I want to work in a clinic, but I should not be obliged to being stuck in the clinic, right?
Yeah. And then that's definitely the goal though for both of us, I guess. So we don't have to deal with the grueling stuff that a normal vet has to deal with. That's the only thing. We both want to do veterinary medicine, just not the way that it is currently.
Yeah. The thing is, that's also one place where we want to disrupt, right? For so far we are the victims of the existing system. We couldn't change. So in future, at least we want to take charge of our own lives in a way to some extent, as much as we can. We are trying at least.
Trying and failing a lot. And then, that's basically the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Right? And then the last thing, you mentioned the thing about school, and the last thing I want to mention about skill acquisition is you will suck in the beginning, and you'll suck for over a year, which is, it takes a lot to suck for over a year.
Yeah, or maybe more.
Or maybe more.
It suck for years in...
And even if you have like stuff stacked against you, right? Like with my shoulder that constantly, like for me it just locks, and this locks as well. This joint locks, so I have to like move it back.
Yeah, and dislocate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that for my knees.
Yeah, I have to relocate my elbow and my shoulder, just because something that happened when I was like 2 years old. I can't change it. It's what it is, right? And also being lanky and stuff like that. You will have stuff that won't necessarily mean that you have all the advantages.
Yeah, I'm doing martial arts I should not be doing.
Yeah,
both my
you've broken your
and
ribs.
I like kicking.
Yeah.
The same way. My favorite is kicking. Kickboxing, Muaythai. I love kicking, especially high kick. Both my knees are short. I should not be lifting my leg ever. I'm standing in one leg with full body weight and fucking spinning.
Yeah.
Exactly, I'm doing the same.
Because that's what you want to do, right? And you're shattering your knee every so often, and then you also shatter your ribs, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the hand, if you guys can see.
It'll beep when it goes through a metal detector, does it?
Yeah, once.
Oh my god.
The airport.
That's really funny. But yeah, so you will suck initially, but eventually you'll be able to get something that you can use so you can actually do what you want to do at the end of the day. Because most people are miserable, so don't do what most people do.
Yeah, and don't fall in for the education system. That's why we started the video saying education system sucks. It is kind of bureaucratic and old school. Don't fall in for the rat race, and see you guys.
Yeah, that's all we have.
And if you guys are interested in checking our other videos where we talk about learning a new skill and how it was when you started learning something new, check out our previous video. And see you.
See you.